Hi, my name is Brandon, and I'm an alcoholic and addict in recovery. Today I'm continuing my reading of This Naked Mind by Annie Grace, and today I read the introduction. And there are several things I like, several things I don't like in what she said. To talk about one of the things that really stood out that I liked a lot, she says, "And don't beat yourself up for anything you have struggled with in the past, including unsuccessful attempts to quit drinking. It's counterproductive. There is a powerful misconception that people who can't control their drinking are weak-willed. In my experience, it's often the strongest, smartest, and most successful people who drink more than they should. Drinking or wanting to drink does not make you weak." And that's a really important concept, I think, for anybody who's attempting to stop drinking, attempting to deal with substance use disorder. It's a really important concept for them to keep in mind, is that your substance use disorder and your attraction to alcohol and your seeming inability to control how much you drink or do drugs, that doesn't make you weak-willed. There's nothing weak-willed about that. It's way more complicated than that. Having a weak will is a convenient way to put things, but it's not an accurate description of what's really going on. And from what I remember in this book, one of the things that Grace does do a lot of is go into what are the neurological and psychological components of the addictive mind, so that we have a better sense of why just having a weak will isn't really part of the equation. On the other hand, one thing to keep in mind is that being willful is also a tool that you can apply to your recovery. So, for instance, one of the reasons that I get up and record these videos every single morning is that I really, truly believe that this is helpful in my recovery. That doing this, having this as part of my schedule and prioritizing this as something I do each day is truly helpful to my recovery. And I have taken the willfulness that I used in my substance use disorder when I was really in my addiction. I've taken that willfulness and I'm applying it to my recovery. And I believe that I owe a great deal of my success in recovery to that, to being strong-willed about how I practice my recovery. That being said, it's really important to recognize that the processes involved in keeping someone in a cycle of addiction are far more complicated than just that person not being strong-willed enough to stop. It takes a lot more to break that cycle than just saying, I really, really want to do this, and then doing it. There's more to it than that. And anyone who's gone through something like a residential treatment program or an outpatient program, or even anyone who's gone through a recovery program like AA or Refuge Recovery or Smart Recovery, can attest to the power of working one of those programs, getting that level of help, and why it was important to do that rather than just saying, all right, I'm done, and then trying to quit cold turkey and just white knuckling it through that. Those attempts are often very, very unsuccessful unless you have something else layered on top of it that helps support you through those times. So, the other thing, and I'm not going to get too much into this, the other things that bother me about the things that do bother me about the introduction are some of the claims that she makes about what a revolutionary approach this book takes in the way that it talks about alcoholism and making the promise that, at least it seems like to me upon reading this, she's making the promise that you will be released from the clutches of alcohol and that it's possible that you may be able to go to a life of moderating your drinking. And I am keeping an open mind and will withhold judgment until I get through the book. I believe that Annie Grace's choice was that she was unable to moderate drinking and has chosen a life of complete sobriety. But I'll read through the book and figure that and find that. I will say this. For anyone struggling with substance use disorder, for anyone struggling with an alcoholism or a drug addiction, if you are told by someone that they can help you moderate your drinking and that person wants money from you to do so, I would not give that person the money. That's my advice. I have seen ads on the internet for courses where someone will teach you how to moderate your drinking. It's my belief that those people are preying on others who have addiction, because they know that that is such an attractive option to us. You know, there were times in my heavy addiction where all I wanted was to know how to come home from work and just have a beer or two. And I just wanted to be able to do that and then relax. And I couldn't figure out how to make that happen. And if someone had said, look, for $1,000, I'll tell you how to make that happen, I would have found a way to give that money to them because I wanted it so bad. And I don't believe that that would have been successful. And so I would just caution anybody, if you're given the opportunity to pay someone to help you moderate your drug or alcohol use, I would avoid doing that. And so just my opinion, I personally have not tried that because I have found that complete sobriety and a life in recovery without any alcohol or drugs is just absolutely beautiful, and I can't imagine being able to just have a drink or two based on what I know about my personal addiction and the cycle of addiction. So that's my personal situation, but I do think it's important to put a warning out there that, you know, people will prey on the dreams of those who want to moderate their addictions, and usually money is involved. And as soon as someone starts asking for money, you know, that's one of the reasons I love AA. AA's never asked me for money except $1 at meetings that I attend. They'll pass around a hat and ask for what you can give, you know, and usually the expectation is give $1 if you got one. That's why I have a lot of trust in AA, because it's an organization that's never asked me for money. And so just something important to consider when people are touting the possibility that if you give them money, they can help you moderate your drug or alcohol use. So that's it for today. Like I said, it's okay to disagree with what you read, but it's important to keep an open mind. That's what I'm going to do, because I remember this book being so important to me when I first read through it. Even if I don't agree with everything I'm reading right now, I'm convinced that there's going to be some really, really cool stuff to find out in this book. More to come tomorrow. I'll be back then. In the meantime, have a good day today.